Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Society and Stuff with your host, Joseph Eisman. The musical introduction of this podcast is brought to you by Blue Dot Sessions. The name of the song is Celestial Navigation. Really great song that I think fit the mode for this podcast. The topic of this episode is about movies. That is why I have a guest. He is the film director born with autism, famous for the movies The Odd Funeral from year 2016 and Being a Dog from year 2021. I say welcome to Felix Swahn. Hello, Felix. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I am good, thank you. I'm good. How does it feel being on this podcast?
Well, I'm very exciting and I feel like it's very fun being on this podcast. I think it might be the third or maybe the fourth time I've been in podcast. I think it's actually the third time I'm getting interviewed for a podcast.
So you have done this before, you can
Yeah,
say.
I've been in two different podcasts. One is for Jordero and one is for a Wild Sound.
Then you are familiar with this. Yeah, perfect. We can move on to the questions. And we begin with a bit of introduction. If you could tell about yourself, who is Felix Swahn?
My name is Felix Swahn and I'm 31 years old. I'm from Sweden and living in Stockholm. I was born with autism. I started to talk when I was 5, but I started to draw when I was 2. I've been educated in both Australia and Sweden as a 2D animator. I'm working as a freelancing animator and illustrator. My dreams is to work as a film director full time.
Then we can move over to the next question. And the next question is, what made you choose to become a film director?
Well, when I was a little, before I started to talk, I tried to communicate with others, but my communication was not always successful because I couldn't have any words to speak out and for others to understand what I wanted to say. When I grew up watching movies, I thought it was the greatest communication. It had a storytelling, it had stories, it had a music, it had sound, it has something to tell. For me, it's a greater communication than what the verbal language was. And as an animator, you're just doing stuff for others. You're not really telling a story. But as a film director, you are telling a story. I want to tell stories and I want to communicate.
Great. Then we can move over to the next question. And the next question is, where do you get your inspiration?
I get my inspiration from watching movies, playing video games, reading books, reading comic books, and when I'm exercising, it helps me to understand what kind of great stuff I can do with my inspiration. But I also get inspiration from watching people and animals overcoming their difficulties and challenges. It's the greatest inspiration for me. And I also get inspired from doing all the things I love, like traveling around the globe, meeting new people, discover food and cultures. It's very inspirational as well.
If we move forward to the next question, then, who do you look up to? Do you have any influences?
Yes, I have influences. My big brother, who is the music composer for my movies, is my biggest influence. He's not just a music composer, he's an artist as well. And when I grew up watching him living the life he always wanted to live, no matter how hard his difficulties were, He still fought for living the life he wanted, and it inspired me to do the same. And I have come a very long way with it. And I had two favorite film directors. They are Tim Burton and Stanley Kubrick. They are telling stories that touch my heart, and I want to tell stories that touch other people.
Wow, how inspiring. So your brother helps you out with the music for your movies.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. That's nice to have someone who can help you, someone within the family, and so who can help you with your success. It's very,
Yes.
very important. Yeah. You also said that one of your influences are Tim Burton. Which Tim Burton movie is your favorite?
My favorite Tim Burton movie is The Nightmare Before Christmas. Even if he's not directing it, he produced it and he tell the whole story. He created all the characters, he created the environments, and it counts as a Tim Burton movie for me as well. Even if he's not directing it, he was just produced it. But The Night Before Christmas, you can say that it's a Tim Burton movie and a Tim Burton story. That one is my favorite.
And you also had another favorite film director, Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah.
Which one of his movies are your favorite?
Ooh, I think...
Tough question, maybe.
Yeah, it's maybe a tough question. I was thinking about to say Clockwork Orange, because I thought the environment was very fantastic. It's a very creepy movie, and it's pretty sexualized, but I think the acting is so good, the picture is so great, and screenplay is so amazing, and he's a genius when it comes to doing something creepy and telling a good story with it that keeps it exciting to see. And I also love 2001: A Space Odyssey and Doctor Strangelove. And his horror movie Shining was the first one that scared the hell out of me. It was the first horror movie I watched when I went to elementary school.
Those movies are really a classic.
Yeah.
Both Tim Burton and Stanley Kubrick.
But I think maybe Clockwork Orange is the first Stanley Kubrick film I saw, and I remember that I loved that movie so much. So I would say Clockwork Orange is super number one.
It is very inspirational, all of the things you are saying. I think it is very important to highlight the ones who are the closest ones that you have in your life. And I mean, it sounds like you have a great support system behind you, 100%. And it is very important to have that, to feel that connection, and to feel that love that is surrounding us. It really is very important. All of the things that you have said, from when you started to introduce yourself to the influences that you have, all of it, it's just incredible and it's inspirational. I think that you may have succeeded to touch other people's heart, with your storytelling, which I have seen. If we move over then to the next question, the stories that are being told, are they relatable in your life and or the life of others?
I think every storyteller is telling stories that are relatable in their lives. But for me, I'm using absurd humor. For example, I'm transforming myself into a dog in my film, which I'm not able to do in real life. In real life, I felt like I'm being a dog, but when I'm working with animation film, you can do all kinds of stuff with it. I mean, if you or me working with animation or so, or movies or so, you can do all the kinds of stuff with it. You can express anything with it. You can do all the possibilities with it based on feelings you felt in real life. So that's why I want to work with films and animation, because it's a very great tool. to tell by expression and using all the possibilities with it, which you are not always able to do in real life.
I think with what is going on in society, in the world, that it is important to create something that can be not only inspirational but also an eye-opener to people. And I think that it is very important to highlight that, and what you are doing truly shows that. Maybe this is a repetitive question, but I'm gonna ask it. Are the stories that are being told inspired by society and real life situations?
I think every storyteller is inspired by society and real life situations. Maybe it's a little bit extra for me because of my diagnosis, but it's not just a big difference between me and other storytellers.
It's very important to have that aspect. You have autism. I mean, you have your autism. It's individualistic. It is very important to think from an individualistic point of view when it comes to the diagnosis. Yeah, and it's very important to not to make individuals with autism fitting them in a box, and to think it is a very broadening perspective. It is very important to have that in mind. Then we can move over to the next question, and the next question is, what is your main goal with directing movies?
My main goal with directing movies is that I want to tell stories about how it is to be different from my perspective, how it is to be a human being from my point of view, and that alienation can be overcome. But I don't just want to tell educative stories. I also want to tell entertaining stories. I want to touch other people with my stories.
It's a very inspiring answer you are giving to that question. It is very important. I mean, we are all unique in our own way. Let's not forget that. It is very important to keep that in mind. No one is the same. I think in a society where everyone tries to fit in a box somehow, or categorize themselves somehow, never ever lose yourself, I would say. Yeah. So what you are doing with your movie making, it's very inspiring and very important also. Yeah, so then we can move over to the next question. And the next question is, are the characters you create diagnosed with something, for example, autism or any other diagnosis?
I think there are some characters that are diagnosed with autism, but not everyone is. I don't want to just tell stories about people with autism. I want to tell all different kinds of stories. But there are stories about people with autism that needs to be told and has never been told yet.
That's I think that's a perfect perspective to look from when creating these characters. And it's very inspiring. Wow, I admire that. Then we can move over to the next question. When in the industry, it can be in the music business or in the film business or fashion business or any other business, you name it, being heard, I mean, getting by when you are not like everyone else, or like, what can I say, normal people or something like that. It can be hard to reach your goal and to be heard and etc. So the next question is, do you think that it is hard to reach your goal and to get by as an individual diagnosed with autism within the film business?
I think that no matter if you are diagnosed with autism or not, it's still hard to reach your goal within the film business. Maybe it's a little bit extra for me because of my autism, but not so much of a big difference. I think there are different grades of autism. And I believe there are some people within the film business that are diagnosed with autism that nobody's even knowing about. So, yeah, I think it's hard for anyone who wants to reach a goal within the film business. But it's not impossible.
Yeah, I think you got that right. Yeah, I think that's a great answer for that question.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly. If you're very passionate about reaching a goal within the film business, it gets easier.
yeah,
And if you're not
definitely.
passionate and you're giving up easily, it's much harder.
Definitely. Yeah. I think that we have established the message of that question. So
Mm.
then we can move on to the next question. The next
Yeah.
question is, do you feel that you are being characterized and marked with your autism?
Yes. Sometimes I feel like I am being characterized and marked with my autism, but not as much as when I was little and young man, when I felt like I was characterized and marked with my diagnosis too often. I think why it's less right now is because autism gets more relatable nowadays. So it's easier for people to not getting afraid of others who are having autism. So I think it's easier for me to live a life and be a part of society as much as I always wanted. And it's easier for me to talk to people. And I believe it will get better and better in the future.
Yeah, that's really great. All of the answers, they all have a message. It's very beautifully answered.
Mhm.
Yeah. In a society where many voices are not being heard and other individuals are not being seen, it is very important to keep in mind that there is so much more going on around us, and it is very important to have like a broadening perspective, broadening point of view when making decisions or thinking in general. So it's very important to keep that in mind. And then we have the next question. And the question is, in general, do you feel that you are being seen and heard?
Yes, I sometimes I feel like I'm being seen and heard nowadays more than I was before when I was little and a young man. I feel like I'm being seen and heard when I'm making my movies. I understand myself better and I'm helping other people who are watching my movies to understand me, what I was going through in a much better way than before I did my movies. And it gets more and more common with autism disabilities. So people are not afraid of others that are disabled with autism in the same way. So I think it gets easier. I will get more seen and heard much more in the future than before.
It is very important to know what is going on around us, and
Yeah,
as I
it
mentioned
is.
before, yeah, as I mentioned before, to have this broadening point of view, this broadening perspective. I mean,
Yeah, it's very important.
yeah,
Everyone who is autistic, they are not working in the same way. They're working in different ways, and I think the society is more like a square view for people with autism, and it's needed to get even bigger and bigger and get broaden, if you know what I mean.
yeah, I totally understand what you mean, and the society structure has changed throughout the years. There is nothing new about that. Great, and then we can move over to the next question. So I looked at your site and I saw some paintings. I really thought that they were beautiful. And so the next question is, what made you to get inspired by making art?
Well, I grew up with a family that was very artistic. My mom is an architect. My dad's a writer. My grandpa is an artist, and my big brother is a music composer. He's an artist. but he's also a game developer. When I grew up, I wanted to try if doing art was good for me. I tried, and I thought it was great for me. That's how I was inspired to making art.
Wow. So you come from an artistic family, you can
Yeah,
say. Yeah. Wow. You said that your father, he is an author.
yeah, he's an author.
Do you have any books that you can like recommend or so that he has written?
Well, I tried to read one of his books, and he has a very difficult language. Sometimes his languages can be beautiful, but the stories and his variety, it can be difficult to understand. So I gave up. But the one I was doing the cover for is called Mitt liv som roman. Was the one I did cover for on the book. It's not a paper cover, it's just on the book, my portrait of him. That one did I.
Wow.
And he
Oh,
has
great.
written more books than that.
That's great. Your brother, he's a musician, you said? Or an artist?
He's drawing pictures, and he's a composer for my movies.
Wow.
And he's a music composer for my movies.
It is very important to have that kind of support in life. Absolutely, 100%. Also to feel the love by your surrounding. It is very important.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, and it's necessary too.
Yeah.
We are all human beings, you know. Great. Then we can move over to the next question. And the next question is, do you have a purpose with your art as well? Or is it only your movies that are supposed to tell a story?
Well, the difference between making a movie and drawing images for me when it comes to making art is that when you're making a movie, it's a magical communication. You communicate through the whole body, from the stomach, from the heart, your head, your soul, everything. But when you're drawing an image, it's like you're just drawing something, but it's not as much magical as making a movie.
That's an inspirational answer to that question. Yeah. If we move on to the next question, would you say that the society is structured as your movies?
Well, my moves are more about relationships and individuals than society structure, but I find a concept based on a society. For example, in my film, Being a Dog, the city is like a mirror based on the main protagonist feelings. It's sad, it's quiet, it's dark, and it's depressing, and it's empty, and it's like a structure of a society.
Yeah. Now, I have seen your movie, Being a Dog. It is very beautifully illustrated, and it is quite remarkable, I would say. It has a lot of feeling in it. You can totally feel when watching the movie, and it is beautifully shown in the movie. So, really great. Then we have the last question for this episode.
Yeah.
The movie Being a Dog is about a lonely guy named Tim who struggles with exclusion and is longing for love. I watched a speech that you held for Region Stockholm for their training Akut omhändertagande av självmordsnära person, AOSP.
Yeah.
You mentioned that the movie is a story about your life. How would you say that your life is now? Are you still searching for a partner?
Yes, I'm still searching for a partner. But I'm also trying to see all the great things with my life, because there are a lot of great things with it. I'm starting a study circle for people with autism disabilities. It's about helping them to create a movie or a story based on their lives to make themselves understand better. Because when I did my film Being a Dog, it helped me to understand myself much better, and it also helped others to understand me better than it was before I did this film. Before I did this film, I had suicidal thoughts more often, and after I did this film, it helped me to release so much suicidal thoughts. So after I did this film, I'm not thinking so much on suicide as much as I did before.
So this movie, when directing this movie, it was therapeutic for you.
Yeah. I believe it could be a great thing for other people with disabilities. And this is what the Studio Seeker is going to be about. I'm also working on several animation projects. And alongside with the animation projects, I'm getting more and more commissions from other people that I will get paid for. And I'm writing an autobiography book about my first 20 years, which is also about how the life for me was with living with autism and wanted to be a part of society.
Wow. So you have gone a long way.
Yeah, you can say that.
Very inspirational. Everyone can relate to what you are telling. These are not news that are strange in some way or that you have never heard of. I mean, there are even individuals without diagnosis who also can have a troubled life or who also feel misunderstood. What you are doing, I think everyone can relate to that 100%.
For everyone who is listening to this podcast and every singles out there, get in touch.
Get in touch with
Me.
With you.
Yeah.
Oh, so everyone should get in touch with you.
Yeah.
Oh. Well,
yeah, that was exactly what I meant.
Well, you hear it, guys. Felix is on the market. To every singles out there, you can get in touch with Felix. Time is running out, and it is time to wrap it up. It was a pleasure having you on this episode, Felix. And I would like to thank you for being on the episode. We will probably get in touch. So thank you.
Thank you. It was nice having me here. I was appreciated to be a part of this podcast.
That's nice to hear. It was very appreciative. I really wish you best of luck in making movies, in searching for the right partner, and in life in general. I really wish you all the best. And it was a pleasure having you. Yeah.
Mm.
So thank you for taking your time being on the podcast. Goodbye.
Goodbye.